Hello, this is Danielle from Bubbly Ducky. I am going to be making chocolate covered strawberry soap live today. Right now I am just first off giving a second for people to join in and also going on my computer to see the video so that way I can talk to you guys. I'll be able to see your comments. There we go. Alright, so if you guys comment, I should be able to see it. I won't be looking up all the time because I have to, look at what I'm doing so I don't screw anything up, but I'll see at least some of them. So I'm trying to get this camera angle right. It seems like I'm more zoomed in than normal, and for the life of me, I can't figure out how to make that not happen. So this is what it is, and I'll try to do my best to keep things right in here. Okay, so I am using the same process I did last time for the Coconut Dream soap, for those of you who saw that, and that is, I am using the heat transfer method. So instead of having all of my oils melted and then adding my lye to that, I have some oils that are not fully melted. I'm adding my lye solution and then I'll add my soft oils, my liquid oils. So last time I did this, I did not do it live because I was worried about what would happen, because I don't use this method very often. And it went really well, so this time I'm going to do it live and cross my fingers that that was the right choice to make. So the first thing I gotta do, I just poured my lye solution into my hard oils. This is shea butter, cocoa butter, coconut oil, and palm oil. All those have a purpose, so for those of you who have heard me say this before, apologize for repeating, but I do think it's important. So shea and cocoa butter I add because they feel really good on your skin. They also help with the hardness of the bar. The palm oil is almost completely responsible for the hardness of the bar. The coconut oil is cleansing. It adds a nice bubbly lather, and then it also is really what gives the soap its soapiness. It's what cuts through gunk. And then it also actually does add hardness to the bar as well, though not quite as much as the other ones. So I'm thinking about doing these videos on a schedule. If you want to leave a note, drop a comment that tells me the best day that would work for you. And it's going to be an evening thing. I got to do this after my kids in bed. So they're usually around 9 or 9:30 Central Time, so I don't know where you guys are. For me, 9 or 9:30. If you want to tell me what time works best for you, I will take that into consideration while I'm planning this out, because my impulse, I'm a very impulsive person, I just want to do this whenever, but planning really helps people actually be able to enjoy it, because you guys don't always have nothing going on, right? Even with quarantine and whatever else, people have lives. Alright, so my hard oils are looking good and melted. I'm going to add in my soft oils now. I should also mention that my lye solution is a little different today. Instead of just using distilled water, I used some aloe liquid. So this is going to have some extra benefits of having aloe in it. Where is my spatula? There it is. Okay. So this one I am making from start to finish. I've kind of been playing with doing live videos, start to finish, doing live videos after I've mixed up my oils and my lye, so I have kind of the basics covered. Doing pre-recorded videos, which I can speed up. So if you have a preference for any of those, let me know. Because when it comes down to it, you are what I do this for, right? You are the reason that I have the video. The video means nothing if nobody wants to watch it. Alright, so in the soft oils, I had olive oil, avocado oil, and castor oil. So the olive and the avocado are very similar in that they both have lots of nutrients. They feel real good on your skin. The castor oil helps with the bubblies. It makes it lather nicely. It works really well with the coconut oil. And now I typically would use my immersion blender, excuse me, to, thinking of my inversion table, totally different thing. I would usually use that to mix this in real good. It's a lot faster, however, it's very, very, very easy to overblend that way. And it is very important to me for this particular design and for this particular method that I do not overblend, because that will make my soap get very thick very fast, and then I cannot do pretty designs. So this soap is also going to be interesting because if you pick up and smell the top of it, you won't get the full effect. The scent I use for my chocolate covered strawberry is actually a handmade blend of a couple of different scents, and one of those scents, the one that adds the chocolate to it, which is my all-time favorite scent of all time, actually, for anybody who wants to know, it is from Brambleberry. It is chocolate espresso, I believe. If it's not exactly that, it's something closely resembling that. It is the best smell in the world. Oh my goodness. If you've had my Perky Cocoa, that's what I use for that. And then of course anybody who has the chocolate covered strawberry scrub or lotion, you know what this smells like as well. So that's my base for it. I absolutely love it. But it accelerates the soap, so it makes it get thick fast. It also turns the soap brown. So different fragrance oils can have different effects, and most sweet ones will turn the soap brown. That one is no exception. So I don't want this whole soap to be brown. I want the bottom to have some brown for the chocolate part, but the top part, which is strawberry, I do not want to have brown. So that is just going to be a strawberry, like a strawberry candy, sugared strawberry scent on the top. So if you pick the bar up and just smell the top, you're not going to get the full chocolate, but if you sniff the bottom, you get a whole bunch of chocolate. Just like a chocolate covered strawberry, you sniff the top and it's all strawberry, right? Uh-oh, I hear a door. I believe my kid is out of bed. Give me 10 seconds here to verify that. Why is the door open, sweetie? Okay, alright, good. Get back to bed, okay, sweetie? Huh? Alright, hurry up. Hurry up. Yes. Sorry about that. Mama first, soap maker second. She was trying very hard to be very quiet. Okay, I think this is mixed up good enough that I can separate it out. The danger is not letting it be mixed up enough and then the oils and the lye solutions separate. Do not want that to happen. Alright, so I'm going to be separating this out here for the chocolate portion and the strawberry portion, and then those will be separated further, but that's where I'm starting. Alright, so this will be chocolate. Just throwing things here. This will be strawberry. And those are not quite big enough for all of it. That is okay. Pop the rest in here. And this is actually going to be for the green of my strawberry leaves. Just gotta scrape this thing out real good. Be amazed at how much soap is left on the sides. For that matter, if you make pancakes or something, same thing. If you scrape down a bowl that looks empty, you probably have enough for one more pancake. Remember that next time you're thinking, oh my, I really wish I had just one more. You do, I promise. I don't promise. I think it's highly likely. All right. So I have my 3 containers here, and I am going to mix this one up a bit more because this one is never going to be stick blended. These other 2 will be stick blended a bit, but this one will not be at all. So I want to just mix it up here. I'm actually going to move that to the side. And then this one, once I mix it up, is going to become my 3 greens, which are going to be used for the leaves on the top of the strawberry. Kind of abstract leaves. So this is actually, both this and the Coconut Dream have somewhat similar design structures. They're going to look very, very, very different, but the general structure of the design is very, very, very similar, and that is because they are both for a contest. So there's a monthly soap challenge. I am going to make both of those and decide which one I like better. And the soap challenge requires a few things. So this particular challenge requires me to, I feel like I should stick blend that a little bit. You know what? I'm going to set this aside, and then right when I'm ready to pour the green, I'm going to stick blend that for a hot second just to be sure. Because I would hate to not have that blended quite enough. Changing my mind halfway through. So, contest requires a few things. It requires at least 3 layers, at least 1 drop swirl, which you'll see momentarily if you don't know what that is, and it also requires at least 1 additional element. So that additional element could be any number of things. It could be some ombre, it could be in the pot swirl, it could be mica lines. I'm going to be using several of those because I don't make decisions well, so I just throw everything at it. Oh, I see Barbara. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, thank you, Barbara. I bet you can crochet while watching me because I am not that terribly exciting and distracting. No. It's been such a huge compliment. She says, I just love watching this. Alright, so this is going to be the 3 bottom layers. I'm going to have 3 layers of the chocolate color. Barbara, if you have a picture of the doily you're crocheting, you should post it down there. We can share crafts. Alright, so I want these to be roughly even. Right now they are most definitely not. That's pretty good. Alright, and then I'm going to mix these up one at a time, and I'm hoping to stick blend them a little bit. Is that tall enough? Oh, it's probably just barely. Oh, I think I can do it. I might add just a little bit more. Yeah. I can add a little more of this just so I can make sure I'm able to stick blend it. Alright, just a touch. Alright, so this is my mixture, my chocolate and strawberry. I'm going to add a little bit of that in here. And as I mentioned, this will speed up the process a little bit, so once I add that in, I gotta get to working. Ooh, just knocking stuff over here. Okay, so first I'm adding, for this one, I want it to be cappuccino from Brambleberry. And I really don't need to add a lot of color to these. You'll see when I cut, it's going to be a little lighter, but then, and that'll happen hopefully tomorrow, live. So when I cut, it'll be a little lighter. But after a little while, as the air gets to it, it will become darker because of the fragrance discoloring. Sorry, lots of banging. Banging's happening now. I apologize. Forgot to warn you. Alright, had to bang out the air bubbles. You can see in there that's not terribly dark, but like I said, it will get darker just because of the discoloration. So when I cut it, you'll see one design, And when I eventually post it on the website in about 6 weeks, you'll see something slightly different and darker. Nope, I want that a little thicker. This particular stick blender is on its way out, so I'm really hoping it's not going to give out on me here. If I have to run again, it's because I'm grabbing another one. So many air bubbles. All right. You know what? I think I am going to grab a different stick blender. I think this one, let me see. Oh, it's doing its thing. Okay. I'm just being impatient. That's all that is. And these are going to be angled layers, so I'm going to grab my little shim here and set this up. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Mostly, kind of. There we go. And my spatula. Oh yeah, that's getting nice and thick. Ooh, that looks like chocolate pudding. Now I'm hungry. Looks like chocolate pudding and it smells like chocolate covered strawberry. Heavy on the chocolate for this particular layer. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be very gluttonous as soon as I'm done with the soap. And depending on my mood, this smell like satisfies any chocolate cravings or makes them 87 times worse. Today was one of those days where it makes it 87 times worse. Alright, so I'm pouring this in at an angle. Now the reason that last time I did a layered pour with the Coconut Dream, the reason I pre-recorded it, one of the biggest reasons I pre-recorded it, as opposed to doing it live like this one, is because you have to wait for them to set up. So you have to have one layer be pretty good and solid before moving on to the second layer. Otherwise the second layer will break through the first layer, especially with an angle like this. I want it to stay where it's supposed to be. I don't want it to move. And it can very much do that if it's not set up enough. And that takes some time. And I want to be cautious of your time. I don't want you just sitting here waiting for me to pour something while I talk. So that's why I did that last time. I never wound up having to really pause last time. It just did its thing. So this time I'm doing it live, as you see, obviously, and I am hoping that it sets up nice and quick. And with this fragrance, it really should. But all of that was my way of saying, sorry if I'm wrong. Alright, so I do think I will be right back. Literally, it's going to take me less than a minute. I have to run and get my other stick blender because I'm worried that that one's not quite doing what it's supposed to, and that will make this take longer. So, right back. Bear with me. So sorry. Alrighty, I'm back. Stick blender number 2 to the rescue. Set this one aside so I don't get all mixed up. I gotta crawl under the table and plug this thing in, so if you hear me grumbling, I probably knocked my head. Alright, number 1 is out of the way. And all this while the soap is setting up, so we'd be waiting either way, right? Alright, back in business. So, that is starting to get a good thickness to it. I'm going to just put a little texture in here now. Let me pull that in so you can see a little better. All I'm doing is kind of moving the spoon around in here a little bit. I don't want these to be even layers. I want them to have some personality to them. All right. And then I want them to have some red between the chocolate layers. Now, to be perfectly honest, I'm not totally sure how well this red will hold up once the fragrance oil does its thing. I think it will, though. Worst thing that happens is it winds up being a dark brown line instead of a red line, which either way will look just fine because it's chocolate, so that works. All right. So I got my little strainer here. I'm just going to make a broken red line in here by sprinkling a little on top. Ooh, this does not want to come out. Here we go. And this, I want it to be enough to where it gives a bit of a line, not so much. First off, I don't want it to be a solid line. I don't want it to be thick. I want it to just be kind of, not subtle necessarily, but I don't want it to take over the soap. It's not a main centerpiece. But also, if it's too thick, the soap will fall apart and won't stick together right there. We definitely don't want that, right? That would be bad. This is what's called either a mica line or a pencil line. I am using Trial by Fire by Nurture Soap, which is supposed to be the reddest red on the market right now. Though obviously various people will say various things on that. It's worked well for me. I like it. I don't have to mix it up. Like there's a lot of, there's not a lot, but there's some other companies that have very popular reds, but you have to mix them up yourself, and I'm not really interested. Alright, that's starting to look good. I just want a little more at the ends here. Actually, there's more in there than I thought. Alright. Just want a little more right at this end. Didn't get much there. Alright. Move this off to the side. Yes, red streaks. Okay. Alright, and then I just want to clean this up a little bit because I do not want big red streaks all up the sides of the soap, which is what's going to happen if I leave this alone. So just use a little rubbing alcohol and clean up the sides of the soap. Actually, that side looks good. Just this one. And this is already pretty good and set up, which is awesome. We can move right to the next layer. No real waiting involved. There we go. Look at that red. Super red. Looks like I hurt my finger. But it's just the awesome red. Alrighty. So I'm going to have this like that for a little longer while I work on the next layer. So layer number 2. I am using mocha brown. Where's my little scoopy thing? Ah, there it is. Alrighty. Ooh, that's getting thick fast. Alright, I'm going to have to work faster. A lot faster. Again, I want to put some of this in there. This is the fragrance oil. And I got my brand new stick blender. Not brand new, but brand new for this session. Oh, that's not getting too thick. Okay. That mica sat on top in such a way that it was making me nervous, but that's not bad at all. Oh, got this little twist on. This to thicken up. I want this to be quite thick because that'll let it set faster on us. Ooh, that is way loud and not worth it. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Actually not thickening up nearly as fast as I expected it to, which is, it takes a little longer for these layers, but it's really good news for the other layers. This stick blender is a lot louder than the other one. One of the many reasons why I typically use the other one. I'll have to get another one of those pretty soon here. Alright. Oh, that is such a pretty chocolate color already. When it darkens up, it is going to look as rich as the fragrance smells. After hearing that stick blender, I feel like I'm speaking so quietly. At this point, you guys probably have your volume off, but I don't even hear me after that noise. Would not blame you. Alright, so now I want this one angled the other way. So I'm just going to switch what side I'm propping up. And then I'm going to pour it in. Hoping you're not also catching my neighbors who are next door doing something in their yard and rather close to the window of my studio. Promise that thing is not me. So I just got some new fragrance oils today. I'm super excited. I got really worried. They actually got delivered to my neighbor's house first. Thankfully, my neighbor brought them over because I saw the delivered notice and went, no, they're not here. I got so upset. So I get very excited about fragrance oils. They're super exciting for me. So they weren't there, and I got all upset, and then they brought them over, and now I have things that I want to play with so badly. So I have all these other things planned, but I felt like I needed some new fragrance oils. So now I have bacon. I have buttered popcorn, which I have a very, very specific thing going on with that one for my hubby. I have margarita, which has been a much requested fragrance. And I have chai tea, which just sounded like it's good. Very spicy. I like it. All right, I'm going to let that one go just a little bit. So we want that to get that other thick texture. And, oh, thank you, Barbara. We're going to let this get a nice thick texture. And then put some more texture in the top and the red over the top. But while I do that, I'm going to mix this up. So I'm going to use a little bit of both of the colors I just used previously. And again, all the browns are going to be a little different at the very end. Not the end of today, but the end of the cure. So this will have to cure for 6 weeks, just about. Sometimes it's a little less, a little more, but generally speaking, I like 6 weeks because it gets you a nice hard bar of soap. So we're going to have this cure for about that long. I want a little more in here. And at that point, it will be available on bubblyducky.com. If you want to know when it comes out, follow my Facebook page, follow my Instagram, sign up for the email on the website. Those are all the ways that I let people know that that's about to happen. So if you want to make sure you get one of these, there's only 10 bars. If you want to make sure you get one, those are all the ways to do that. Oh yeah, let's set it up. Oh, it's one of the good things about this fragrance oil for doing layers. Not for everything, but for layers specifically. Alright, so I'm just going to do one more time. Push it over so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of putting little divots in it. Nothing crazy. I don't want to go too far here because I don't want to affect the layer below it. But I do want this to have a little personality. I don't want it to just be plain and flat. Here we go. And I'll do some more red right on top. This will be my final red mica line, I think. Unless I change my mind and do it one more time, but I think this will be my final one. Kind of feel like I'm playing music. It kind of feels like castanets. Not nearly as dancey. I'm sure that's the technical term, right? trying to get it over. The one hard thing with doing this on layers that are angled is that I gotta try to angle my sprinkle too. And gravity only allows you to do that so much. Alright, I'm hoping this doesn't soak in too much, it just sits on top. Gonna do a little more. Oh, did I really do that? Oh! Alright, so the sprinkling doesn't work so well if you're going to soap at the bottom, so now I have to sprinkle from a different side. I accidentally stuck it right in the soap. Good job, Danielle. So today was one of those days where, gotta be honest, I was feeling a little on the crabby side. Adulting, you know, parenting can be rough. Not really, very rewarding, mostly rewarding, but you know, there's those days when you go, am I doing this right? And today was one of those days. So then I get to do this at the end of the night. And I gotta tell you, this just calms me down so much. I get to smell good smells, I get to put a lot of focus into it, I get to play with pretty colors. So I am feeling a whole lot better. And you know, right before this, I got to read my daughter her bedtime story. I say bedtime story, she's old enough that it's not like a quick bedtime story. We always have a chapter book we read together, and we read about a chapter a night in a devotional. But it is like, it's connection time, so I got to do that right before this, and then I got to do this, and I get to talk to you guys, and everything just feels a little better. Alright, cleaning up the edge here. And Casey says, I cannot wait for that chai. Yes, I cannot either. It smells real spicy. I like it a lot. Has a lot of cinnamon going on, but you can also get some nutmeg in there and some other stuff that isn't cinnamon, but I don't cook well enough to know what it is. It just smells good. I haven't thought of a design for that one just yet, though. So that one is not finalized. Alright, moving on to chocolate layer number 3, which gets the last of the chocolatey fragrance. I want it all. Alright, where's my... There it is. Blend this up real good. Excuse me, this is about to be the noisy part. Casey, yes, I am not quite at teenage. I'm right on the brink. And, oh my goodness, yes. Absolute sweetheart, but sometimes I go, really? Am I not doing this the way I'm supposed to do it? This is, yeah, Casey is making a comment about how teenagers can be very, very, very rewarding, but also a bit on the difficult side. Yes, not news, we all know this, but it still hits you every day. Ooh, gosh, that thing's loud. Nope, a little more. Ooh, look at that. I don't like browns generally, like the color browns. I typically am a vibrant person. I don't do a lot of neutrals, but when it is associated with chocolate, suddenly this color is beautiful. Typically I want either solid black or neon. Alright. So I'm going to flip this around one more time. Oh, no, there we go. So I want that one more angle in it. I'm pushing this as far as I can. I really want this to be a good angle. Let's pour that in. Alright, chocolate is good to go. I'll texture that a little bit when it thickens up a little bit, but I get to move on to strawberry now. Now this is supposed to be my strawberry, and that is really close to the top. I'm afraid that something bad is going to happen there. So I'm actually going to move that to this, which I've been just sticking my utensils in, to give me a bit more room for mixing. So this is going to be, I have to have it a little thicker, not too much. I want it to be a bit of an ombre or amber. So I read that word all the time. I never hear it said. I have no clue if I say it right. So I usually say ombre. It might be amber. It might be something totally different. I could just be wrong. If you know, let me know so I can sound incorrect less often. That would be great. So I'm going to thicken this up just enough for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason is, I'm actually just going to use the brown because this much soap, this little bit of brown, you'll never know. The biggest reason is I'm going to put poppy seeds in here. So poppy seeds will, first, be a really nice exfoliant. Well, everybody has a different opinion. My opinion is that they're not terribly rough, but they still give you just a little bit of that scratch. Not even scratch, but just, I don't know, scratch makes it sound bad, but it feels really good to me. So we're going to do that. And then it also looks like the seeds from a strawberry, which is just fun. But in order for me to put those in here, the soap has to be thick enough to hold them. Otherwise, all the poppy seeds sink to the bottom and you have this weird, like, scratchy line in it instead of throughout. We don't want that. Oh, thank you, Casey. Casey says she lets her kids watch the videos and now they're requesting items. So I hope it's not causing problems in your home as your kids are begging you for things, but it also makes me feel really nice. Thank you. So I do need some fragrance oil in this, and this is just going to be straight up sugared strawberry. Oh yeah, that should be the perfect texture right there. Do not want to blend that anymore. So I'm going to put the fragrance oil in, the poppy seeds in, the color in. All of that will be done by hand, not with the stick blender, because I do not want this to get any thicker. Alright, scoop this over for a minute, get out my handy dandy scale. case you're wondering, it's a postage scale. Works better than any scale I have bought that was specifically for this purpose. It is much more accurate, which is kind of sad. It should be, the ones I buy for this purpose should be more accurate, but this is great. I'll put those in a second. Do this first. Perfect. That is sugared strawberry from Nurture. I'm just mixing this up. Like I said, just by hand. Get that fragrance oil nice and in there. Now, last time I used this fragrance oil, it did not behave like it was supposed to, but I think I figured out why, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time. I really have my fingers crossed that that doesn't happen this time. Alrighty, poppy seed time. And I probably should have a perfect little measurement for this, but really I just want to see how it looks. I want to have the right amount to where I can kind of see space between them. It's not just a big cloud of poppy seeds, but it's also not sparse. It's looking good, good consistency. I am feeling good about this. Woohoo! All right. So this, as I mentioned, I'm going to do kind of an ombre. So I'm going to start with a little bit of pigment and then add a little more as I go. Which means the bottom might wind up being kind of pink, and then the top will be a much more vibrant red. That's looking good. Alright, so while that is done, let me check on my brown here. See if it's ready for a little texture. Oh, it is! Alrighty. Got a little texture going on. And I believe it's thick enough that if I write it, it's not going to fall on me. Yes. Awesome. And pour a little of this in. I really should be breaking the fall here, and I'm not. Alright, a little bit of that in. You can see it's pretty pink in there. Now I'm going to add more color. So this is going to be kind of like a drop swirl under another drop swirl. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but if you guys would tell me the type of format you like for videos, I have played with doing them live. I've played with doing them live, but having most of the mixing done off camera, like before I start. I've played with having them pre-recorded, and then I speed them up so it doesn't take quite so long, but you also don't hear any of the commentary. Just whatever one of those you prefer, if you could let me know. I'm not necessarily going to change anything right now. Right now I'm kind of doing just a little of this and a little of that, and playing around with it. But it is good to know what you guys prefer, because at the end of the day, that is who I'm doing this for. I make it for me because I enjoy it. But the videos are all about you guys. Alright, so I am pouring this over a spoon here, a spatula spoon, so that it doesn't hit quite as hard and doesn't bust through the next layer quite as much. It's going to a little bit, that's alright. I just want it to generally stay on top so that we see the colors kind of gradually getting darker. Not terribly gradually, because I'm an impatient person, and so I'm adding way too much color at one time. But you know, you get the idea. And of course, every time, since I have less soap, the pigment does just that much more. Now, I will say that with this being a nice bright red pigment, don't use a white washcloth with it. It probably will not be white when you're done. Unless you're just wanting to, you know, make a cool colored washcloth. In that case, it would work perfectly. This is, if you're wondering what's with the crazy looking mold, it is because the white one, the white middle part, is the silicone, it's made to be used by itself, or at least that's what it claims, but the sides bow, and then the soap gets a weird shape to it that I don't like. So my husband got a bunch of scrap 2x4s and made me a mold for around my mold. That it is not the prettiest thing, but it absolutely helps. Alright, I think that's going to be the last red that I add here. It's starting to thicken up a little, which is perfectly fine. I don't want this to wind up being too high because I do have another swirl that goes in it. I want to make sure I have space for that, but I don't want it to be so low that I have too much space. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside. I might wind up using more of it later. For the moment, I'm going to leave it alone. This is actually, my table's a little uneven, so I'm going to wind up having to, there we go, bring in a piece of wood, stick it under the other side so it evens out a little. Alright, now we shall move on to the green. So the green is going to get just the smallest little mix here. I want it to stay really liquid, so much so that I'm putting no fragrance oil in it. You're going to have so much fragrance in the rest of the soap that this will not be noticed. Alright. Oh, I'm making such a mess. All I'm going to do, just enough for me to feel really good about it not separating, but yeah, that's probably already more than I should have done, honestly. Alright, so now I have these 3 greens here. And I'm going to put a little of this in each of them. Oop, messy, messy. That's what happens when I work fast. My table gets a lot of the soap, but it'll be super clean. Alright, I think that's actually more than enough. I probably will not use all of that. So a lot of that will probably wind up in samples. Then I got my handy dandy little beady mixer here. Ooh. I'm debating whether I want to pour these in individually or put all in the same container and then pour them together, which I kind of want to do because I haven't done that before and it sounds like it'll be neat. I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe. There are benefits to both ways. Alright, color one done. Color 2 might need a little more pigment. I think I'm actually going to add more to that. So I'm going to set that aside for the moment. Woohoo! Look at that. All right. So just this middle one here, I'm going to add a little neon green, because why not? Alright. Don't need much, it's a very little bit of soap. Blending it in first so it doesn't poof out on me. There we go. Alrighty. Now, these are going to mimic the leaves on the top of the strawberry. So I'm going to make a little pitcher here. I'm going to pour from nice high up, and I'm going to pour in stripes down the middle. And I'm hoping that at the end it kind of looks like some leaves, an abstract version. Alright. This is a little thicker than I would have liked it to be. There we go. Pierce right through. Alrighty. Oh yeah. Oh, my neighbor is practicing his guitar now. So that is not my musical stylings you are hearing in the background. Practices quite a bit. He's getting decent. Alrighty, so this just needs to be cleaned up a bit. Shake it a little because I want it to cover the top. I'm going to clean up the edges, spritz it a bit, and this should be good to go. I actually, you know what? I take that back. It is not good to go. It needs a stem. I want a stem. We are going to add right here. Alright, I need another little cup. Perfect. I need a little bit of soap, a little bit of brown mica, and one single stripe so that we can get a stem going. Really should not need much of anything. Come on. Come on, soap. You know you want to. There you go. I'm not even sure what to use to stir this with, honestly. It's a little. Let's try this. Mix it up without the. Oh, that'll work. Oh, yeah. Alright, let me see if I can get one little bitty stripe to be a stem. Come on. Hope if I speak nicely to it, it'll do what I want it to. Alright, maybe needs a little more coaxing because I am impatient and don't want to wait for it. I think that's good. Come on. Oh, this is so not going to do it for me, is it? It's just a little too thick. Ooh, I know what I can do. Let's see. Alright, let's see if this will work. It might be too thick for this too, but I'm going to try. Got a little dropper here. Happens to be a very chintzy dropper, so it is. I think it actually already has a hole in it. We're going to try. Oh no. It's not doing a thing. Alright, I might give up on the stem idea. I don't like to give up, but this is not working out. Let me see. Oh, one more try. A little spatula. A little spatula that I can drip off of. I feel like this needs a stem. You can't have a strawberry with the leaves, but without the stem. There we go. Alright, if I can get these dollops and then run the spatula across it, I think that'll do it. I'm hoping you guys don't see my head right in here, because I cannot see my screen. I don't particularly want that. Alrighty, so I do that, and then I feel decent about that. Okay, so you gotta remember these will be cut like bread, so into slices, so that one little stripe will just be that little notch on each and every bar. Hopefully, a stem-like notch. Alright, so that's it. I've made the mess, I've made the soap. This is going to sit for about 24 hours. If all goes well, I will be cutting this live tomorrow night. It will then be available on bubblyducky.com in 6 weeks, and then you will also get to smell this intoxicating scent that half the time makes me think I don't even need treats, this is good enough, and the other half of the time really, really makes me want chocolate pudding. I so appreciate you guys joining me, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. Thank you guys so much. Bye!